and ESPN 1320 host and contributor, our dear friend, Olivia. Olivia, what's happening?
Hey.
Hi, guys.
That was a good introduction.
Good.
Oh, indeed. We got the
Crowd.
the big round of
audience.
the big round of applause. Have you enjoyed the last 48 hours of Kings basketball as much as we have?
As much as you have, yes.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. What do you like? Because we come in here every day at noon, and it's like, yo, how do you contextualize a 53-point loss? And we haven't been able to.
No one can. No one can figure it out. The coaches can't. The players obviously can't. Fans can't. It's just miserable. It's miserable.
Can we run this quote back? I don't know if you heard this, Olivia. Like we played this. I gotta run this quote back because it's so fascinating to me. This is Alvin Gentry. Not only was it following the game last night, like it was following his media availability.
All right, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. We ain't gonna give up. I can tell you, we will not quit. As I said to the guys, I've never quit at anything in my life, and this is not going to be the first thing, okay? So we're going to keep battling and find a way to get around this, okay? I guess I shouldn't say that, but that's a bad word. But we're going to find a way to get through it, okay?
Like that's the second time. That's the second time he's ended his media availability and has come back with the line, "We ain't going to quit." Like I don't think Alvin's going to quit. I don't think Doug's gonna quit, or Stacy, or I don't think any of them are gonna quit. But ask me if I think some of those players have quit, because I think they already have.
Yeah, it's like, what can he say? We gave up, everybody. You can stop paying attention. Like, he doesn't have the ability to say that. He's got to say, we're not going to give up. And I think maybe he's also trying to speak it into existence. It doesn't hurt if you keep saying it. It hurts our feelings because we haven't seen a change. But as a coach, like, what do you do? Players are invested in the emotional energy and the confidence their coaches have in them. So he's trying to instill something, some hope. There's still something to play for. It's sad. But yeah, he's trapped. They're all trapped in hell. We're all of us together.
So what's next, right? Like, you got a team that is just dead. You got a coach that knows they're dead. Is it really as simple as just moving? I said for a long time, move one or two of these guys, and you can kind of change what's going on with this team and with this locker room. Are we beyond that now? Is it you got to do wholesale changes, like get rid of any and everybody that you can? Is it to that point, in your opinion?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I feel like we're at a point where, like, who knows? Throw away everybody. Keep a couple of guys. I'm at a point where, like, I don't understand what kind of chess we're playing right now. I think I just try to, as a fan, I try to take it day by day. Are there anything game by game? And hope that these individuals on the court will want to be playing for pride at this point, right? Like, just individually, you want to show up. You want to show that you're invested. You want to show that you've chosen this profession. You've chosen to put on this uniform. You've got a family. You're on television. All of those things. People are showing up to watch you. If that's not enough, and for some players it's not, the fans will respond to that. And I think they have by not showing up at Golden One. But there's still obviously a dedicated fan base. Shout out to the Chatty House and everyone who's listening and watching. But I think to get our hopes up that some major move soon will bring about change soon, it won't. And then some couple of pieces that move around, they may make a difference emotionally, but it's all going to be about rebuilding the culture top bottom. And that's going to take time. It's taken 15, 16 years at this point.
Well, no, because it's been 15. It's been 15, 16 years of just like walking in a circle and like, oh, maybe it'll be different this time. Maybe this will be this time. Oh, it's the line from that. Look, kids, Big Ben, Parliament right there. It's the line from National Lampoon's European Vacation. Chevy Chase just driving around in a circle because he doesn't know how to get it out of the roundabout. That's the Sacramento Kings. They can't figure out how to get out of the roundabout. And you talked about teams, you talked about players and having family and friends there. The thing I can't get over, and by the way, Mayback O is about to deliver her new segment, Give and Go, coming up here in about 15 minutes. So you don't want to miss that. but it's other general managers. Like, it's other people around the league. Like, you tuning in to the last 48 hours of Kings basketball, because now it's one thing to get humiliated once. It's a whole other thing to be down 53, lose by 53 against the Boston Celtics. Then at one point being down by 30 against the Atlanta Hawks, not in just consecutive games, but on consecutive nights, because now you have the casual fans' attention. Now you have the casual sports, national sports media writer who's not paying attention to the Sacramento Kings. You have their attention, and general managers see all of this stuff. So as we head into the trade deadline and we're asking about selling off or swinging for the fences or doing this or doing that, I'm left looking at this roster like, who the hell wants you? Why would I want someone on my squad who quit?
Yeah. Well,
I'm like Mike Singletary. I want winners.
Mike Singletary, hit him in the mouth. Just hit him in the mouth.
And there ain't nobody on this team that'll do that.
No. Well, that's what I meant about playing for pride. That collectively, they're not going to go anywhere. We know this. But if you want to get moved somewhere else, or you want to be thought of as someone who could potentially, make some moves and impact another team, you have to show up as somebody who cares about the outcome. Even if the outcome results in losing by 53, it's the energy with which they show up to the game that I think everybody feeds off. If you're bad, you're bad. If you're trying, it's like the Bad News Bears. Once they got a coach in that was like, we could do this, they turned around. And I don't know why I'm going back to the 70s. I really like the Bad News
I love
Bears.
that movie, though.
It was dope.
Let
they had the attitude of the coach at the time. And I think Alvin Gentry's like, I got to stay positive. I've got to put this mindset out there. Hopefully at least a couple of players, for their sake, for their future sake, will want to step up to the plate and be able to, if they're not going to stay in Sacramento, find a better home. But I think that's all individually that they can count on at this point. Clearly, it can't stay the way that it is.
And that's a good point. That's a good point, because maybe Alvin Gentry's job right now is to stay connected to the guys that he feels can be salvaged, right? A Davion, a Tyrese, Rashawn. I'm just naming a few. There may be other guys he feels that way about too. But look at them and say, look, I know there's a bunch of crap going on by the side of you, but look at me. I'm going through it too. I'm remaining professional. This is how you're supposed to do it. This is because it's not always going to be like this, whether it's here with the Kings or in another franchise. It's not always going to be like this. And you're going to have to understand when you're in tough times, you got to stay professional. You got to find a way to continue to be a leader. That's a good point. And think about that. He has to do those type of things for the guys that he feels can be salvaged still.
Yeah, these guys who've been in the league 1 or 2 years, they're used to winning all the time. This is the first adversity they've really faced, potentially, like on this kind of a level. So, Alvin he's coach, he's dad, he's mentor. All of them on the coaching staff are there. And if you're trying to create habits for them for wherever they land next, you want to implement some values with them, teach them some lessons. I think at this point, that's all that you can really do, especially with the players that you just named, is try to set them up for being successful and having a long career in the NBA.
Yeah.
And that might be all we get.
We're not even like at the All-Star break. I think that's the most, like, it's like one thing if we have to have this conversation like in March, or as we head into the final 2 weeks of the season, 3 weeks. All right, some things went ill. Shoot, we're going to be frustrated. Man, it's January and we're still talking about like these same things, these same frustrations. And it's like, boy, this one really got away from us. Like you look back and where we are now, the signs were there at the beginning of the season. Like, I think we had a stretch of a handful of games where they were, we talked about celebrating close losses. Like, yo, they're fighting. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh man, there wasn't as much fight in that one. Oh, okay. Not this one either. And then, like Kenny said this earlier, like we started to play, okay, what Kings team is going to show up? The signs for where we are now have been there all year, and we ignored them because we wanted to believe that something, that's all right, it's going to get better. Oh, no, De'Aaron's slow starter. He's going to turn it around. No. This is going to be this. This is going to be that. And it never happened. And here we are again, just walking around in a circle.
It's funny because I actually think we're at a place now. It's which Kings are going to show up per quarter.
Right.
It's breaking it down. Can we get through the first? Oh my gosh, we're ahead by 12.
It's a major accomplishment to get through the first quarter.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's depressing. And I think there were signs, and I don't fault us for being hopeful in the beginning of this season. I mean, there's a lot of great talk. Davion and his defense, we thought he was going to inspire everyone to play 48 minutes of strong defense. And Tristan was like, oh, they're going to learn from me. I've been on a championship team. And there are a lot of reasons to have hope. And those have quickly diminished, clearly. But I don't fault us for thinking we've turned the page. It's a new chapter. It's a whole new book. It's a DVD, whatever it is. I don't fault fans for being hopeful. But I also think you have to live in the reality of it. And this has been something that the Kings organization has been stuck in for a long time. And there isn't going to be a quick fix. It's very rare that one or two guys step in and they can completely change the culture of an organization. And I don't put it on a 21-year-old or 22-year-old to be able to do that no matter how good they are of a player. Changing the culture, if they're successful at doing that, that is amazing. But it's very difficult for an individual to come in with a culture that's been ingrained of losing and missteps and, all those types of things and be like, well, I'm going to change that.
I can't believe we thought Davion was going to change everything, dude. What the hell were we thinking?
You know what? We did. I will say this, though. I'll stall us out a little bit. I don't think we thought he was going to change everything, but we thought he would help them be better.
Yeah.
And the fact that and it's not a knock on him, but they haven't been better with a better defense, like just one better defense on the team. Like that's disappointing to see that they couldn't even rise to that.
And I'm not sure that he's been put in a position to make a difference.
I don't think
I feel like he gets thrown out there every now and then, and he tries to take advantage of his minutes. Like when he showed up yesterday, it's the second start of the season. He wanted to produce, and he did. Yeah. He got in foul trouble, and they had to sit on the bench for too long, in my mind. But he's trying to figure out what role he can play and what kind of impact he can make. And I think that on top of, COVID stuff, players coming in and out. Of course, the entire league has suffered through that. But the Kings are probably the team that can handle stuff like that the worst, right? Like they can't have these kind of changes and still rise to the occasion. Like we're trying to get them through the first half or to not have a scary third quarter. Like those little things we're still dealing with. Throw in COVID protocols and lacerations to the eye and weak ankles. Like I don't know what that ankle thing is about.
And well, then we can talk about that for sure. But I just also want to say, like it wasn't like you mentioned, Damien, it wasn't like this from day one. Like they were playing differently. They were playing with a level of toughness. And the MO for this team is, I don't know what it was. I don't know how we got there, but there was some adversity that hit and they just folded like they've done for the last few years. Just folded. Yeah. And once that adversity hit, they couldn't get away from it.
It's like that in every game too. As soon as the other team starts to push a bit, they fall down. Oh, we give up. They, build up a 12-point lead. I don't know how many games in the past few weeks they've had any kind of lead, but they finally establish one. And then all of a sudden the Hawks are like, oh, let's switch up this rotation. Let's get some bench.
They got punked by their bench.
It was just humiliating. And I don't know, mindset. I mean, we can try to break it down, but it's clearly a challenge that wasn't there at the beginning of the year. And I don't know if I could remember off the top of my head what game or what happened that turned the switch. They decided they're not trying anymore.
Bogey played the role of Corey Joseph last night and said, F these suckers, man. We'll step out. We'll come back. We'll debut Give and Go with Mayback O. We'll talk more Kings basketball, some football as well. Lots more ahead here with D'Lo and KC and Olivia Christian here on Sacramento's #1 sports station, ESPN 1320. Clear.
Mayback O. What's going on with you?
Hey, so I dipped into the chatty house a little bit yesterday. And my days are kind of nutballs. January, February, I know people have an issue with me saying nutballs. I don't know why I say it. It just comes out. So, but January, February, March are like my busiest season. No, I'm not an accountant, but I get hired to do a lot of stuff. So I don't have a lot of free time, but I try to dip in and listen because I want to hear what you guys are talking about. And I dipped in yesterday and talking about women in sports. I think you had Sarah Hodges on. And hearing that conversation, and then today on Twitter, Mina Kimes was being called out by Jeff Garcia. He was
whack.
It was, and I'm just kind of like, I hate these conversations about women in sports and can they do their job, and it's just frustrating. But
Jeff Garcia is a fuck boy, so let's not get that confused. But
Mina Kimes is much better at her job than Jeff.
Oh my God, and it's not even close. Like, she is phenomenal. She is really good.
He was so trash for that.
But his argument was really around the fact that she'd never played the sport. If you've never thrown a touchdown, you've never put on the pads, you've never done that, you can't talk about it. I said, well, most people can't. You can't talk about anything.
Right.
You have literally done it. I can't talk about running for office. I can't talk about the president. No, I don't like that policy. If I've never been president, like, it doesn't make any sense.
Like, so who's gonna call these games? Like, what position did Joe Buck play?
Exactly.
Like who's gonna call these games?
But I feel like it's only when women are given hot takes or given analysis that they say you've never done it, right? They don't have a problem with the fact that Joe Buck has never played or some other commentator.
Right.
Just when women do it.
Yeah.
But my mention of the chatty house, I just like, I want to spend more time in engaging and stuff, and it's not about me being like anti, but I enjoyed seeing the conversation yesterday, and I wish I would have been able to participate a little bit more.
Hop in the house. The fun place.
I was told that like everybody should calm down. Like when Jill and I were going back and forth, everybody calm down. Like, we're calm over here. We're just talking about that women like sports. They're 50% of the fan base in all major leagues. I think it's 51% in the NFL, MLB, NHL. We like sports too. And we can talk about it even if we've never done it.
Absolutely. I never played football. I talk about it.
I played football. I played all of it. Put on the pads. It was good stuff.
Absolutely.
My dad would tell you.
Jill is one of the smartest people I know, by the way. When it comes to talking Kings basketball, Jill's better than people who host morning shows. Just speak out her ass. Like, she is sharp.
Throwing out back.
She teaches me shit. Like, a lot of it. Did you see our De'Aaron pictures earlier?
No.
This was the De'Aaron muscle gaining pic. That's the big De'Aaron's a beast picture. This is 15 pounds. That's right. This is De'Aaron a couple of months earlier on vacation.
Oh.
Yeah. November, July.
How'd that happen?
15 pounds of muscle. Yes.
You see, the muscle was distributed in a way. Where's my sound?
Wait, so when you were training,
allow me to expose my colon.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm sorry. When you were training Wingo's son, was it just weights and what were you conditioning?
It was it was a lot of agility stuff. It was like teaching because he was a sophomore when I met him. And so it was like teaching we definitely did weight training, but he had a high school coach and a training program there. So we did a lot of agility stuff and like footwork stuff. He was just a big kid who didn't really know how to move. Yeah. And so we worked on learning how to move. We're coming back. On the Odyssey app on 1320 AM, we're live on twitch.tv/ESPN1320 and youtube.com/ESPN1320. If you're watching, we hope you hit the thumbs up. If you're not, go subscribe later. You can even check us out on Facebook Live. Search ESPN1320. Hit the like button. Basically, wherever you can find D'Lo and Casey or ESPN1320, like us.
Please.
We want to be like. We're begging for likes here with D'Lo and KC and Olivia Christian here we're going commercial free. till the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Lots of little things to touch on. LeBron James rolled out tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers. Of course, the Philadelphia 76ers will be the Sacramento Kings' next opponent on Saturday. I've got Joel Embiid going for 60 on Saturday. I'm going to up the ante just a little bit and say I got Joel Embiid going for 60 3/4 on Sunday. He's going full Klay Thompson on the Kings.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
That's going to be ugly.
That's where we are. Who's going to stop him?
Nobody.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right. Exactly. The first answer was correct. I mean, Rashawn's going to do his damnedest, though. Like, we talk about players on the Kings who try. Rashawn, you can lump in with Alvin Gentry. You can lump in with, I think, Tyrese Halliburton and a handful of. Rashawn hates this. One of the toughest players the Kings had slammed his head on the mat the other day and I don't know why I keep saying Matt. Slammed his head on the court and sprained his wrist, and he's out indefinitely. He was one of those definitive guys who cared. And Terrence Davis.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Saturdays. It's weird, like thinking about games coming up, and you're like, oh, they're playing again tonight. I'm like, oh, come on. It feels so good. They're not playing tonight. What am I going to do with my time? I'm going to
enjoy life.
Yeah. We joked about this, like in San Francisco's obviously the perfect. Dude, imagine you go from covering the Dodgers and the Giants in the, division series, and now you've got the Golden State Warriors as the best team in basketball, and the San Francisco 49ers are about to play in the NFC Championship. Like, no wonder Butcher Boy looked like he just got done hanging out with Scarface every time we talk to him. He's all amped and excited because he ain't been beat down by none of his sports teams.
Yeah, and it's really affecting other areas of my life, this depression. I feel like that's why this tube around my waist is hanging around. I can't burn this fat because of the depression. But have
you gotten rid of the Doritos? Like you have, is Doritos still your post-workout recovery snack?
I should clarify. I don't eat Doritos like literally right after. I'll have like a protein shake. But what goes good with the protein shake is Doritos.
Well,
they soon go after.
You know what you got to do, Olivia. This is my problem. If the Doritos are in the house, it's not don't eat them. It's eat them all to get them out of the house.
That's facts. That's facts. That's the way to go. That is the way to go.
I live in downtown LA, right? So everything is very close. Like the taco guy is literally downstairs. I have to pass him. And I have to get chips with the top. Like, there's this whole thing. It's a mental hang up that I'm having right now.
Tacos are good for you. You can't have no good tacos.
I'm sorry?
Tacos are good for you. I mean, they're not like celery, but it's not like McDonald's either, right?
No, I'm definitely not eating that kind of stuff. But I just have bad habits right now. I had surgery and I had to not work out and stay still. And so it was just, I'm still trying to reverse those habits. Which that's why I was asking Damien. So you train people, do you? Can you virtually slap the alcohol out of my hand and reach in to the camera?
I can virtually do that. I can't do it from a Queen in the Violet Fog or Luke Belair or Bumblebee. I certainly can't slap that out of your hand. But you're a beer girl, so I could easily just put that down.
I know it's all over. But I'm trying to speak more positively. Like we tried it with the Kings, focus on the good stuff. And I'm like, at least
you're Alvin Gentrying yourself is basically what you're doing. like you're both Buddy Hield and Alvin Gentry. And it's difficult when they both live inside your mind.
Oh, you just called me Buddy Hield. I'm just throwing up shots. We'll see what works. No plan, just throwing up shots.
That's you. Well, that's you with the Doritos and the tacos. You got to have, and the alcohol and the beer. You got to have a better plan. And see, it's in moments like this where you transform from Buddy Hield to Alvin Gentry, and you're trying to talk yourself into getting this all worked out.
Luckily, that's the only area where I'm having trouble. I do like to work out. At least I'm not one of those people that it's like, oh, I hate working out. Like that's usually the hardest thing is to get up and try to put on some sweats and go out in the cold. Of course, it's another 75 degree day.
Settle down.
Yeah, relax. It was very in my house and around my house.
Is your heater fixed yet, Brody?
No, they're supposed to come tomorrow. It was so cold in the house this morning that I was just in a funk. Like I couldn't get nothing going. I
noticed
behind the show. Like I couldn't even really get into in the spreadsheet because I couldn't think. I was just freezing.
Jesse,
After
this is a new
one-
one. My man said
I
he
can't
couldn't work on the show because it was cold.
I was trying to listen to some stuff. I was trying to look up some websites, and I was like, man,
I
it's
swear to
cold.
God,
All it is cold. It got so cold. I was just in a funk. Yeah,
bro.
like, yo, go take a jog or something. Go. I went around. I didn't even go in the backyard and play basketball. I went around the corner to play basketball. That's how cold it was around here.
It is hard to concentrate when you're cold though, because you're just thinking
I'm
about being cold.
freezing.
Your fingers are cold, your toes are cold.
Yeah, I was freezing. I don't know why it was this cold in my house. Didn't make no sense.
Bro, you're lucky I love you as much as I do, because that is the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, man, I'm dead serious, bro. Because I took Reese to school. I got back about 8:15. That spreadsheet was right there in front of me. I had all my tabs up. I was about to go, and I was like, man, I'm cold. I need something warm. I need like some coffee or something. Went to go look for some coffee. It just, I couldn't even get right until I got warm. I couldn't.
Yeah, you got to make the coffee and just hold it in your hand. Maybe
Next thing I
sprinkle.
knew, it was like 8:52. I was like, damn. It's so bad.
That's how I felt when I looked at the rundown and saw it was 8:52 too. I was like, damn. Brandon was in here. Olivia was in here. Like, man, I hope Kenny's okay. Boy, he might be at Sam's Club
okay.
again.
Yeah, that wasn't okay.
Like, oh, I hope he has a sweater today. Oh, I don't know what's gonna.
Send Kenny them hand warmers that you put in gloves. That's a wild dude. Can somebody work that into a real life setting? Because sometimes I feel like what we do isn't real life. Could you tell your boss, like, look, I couldn't get this done. My heater's broke. It was cold in the house, and I just couldn't get it done. Rich, I know Rich in Baton Rouge. Tell your people, hey, look, man, I couldn't get the presentation done, man. It was like 56 degrees in the house. What do you want me to do?
There's a talk to type now, right? Can't you talk to type?
Huh?
He couldn't focus, is what he's saying, though. The cold shifted his focus.
Man, I'm telling you.
It's all right, buddy.
Here trying
We
to
got you.
get it done, and I was like, I need something to warm up. I do not leave the house in the morning to go do stuff. Literally, Jazz was like, yo, go outside, go do something. Because I was just moping around complaining about how cold it was. Couldn't figure out what I wanted to do next.
Oh, so that's why Jazz came in earlier and yelled at you. You got on her nerves this morning. And it's carried over into the show.
It may sound a little dramatic. It had been cold for the last 3 weeks into my house. Like, that's not new. I hadn't felt like I felt this morning. I could not get nothing going.
How cold is it right now?
Now it's fine because I've warmed up. I went outside.
No, I mean like the city of Sacramento.
It's probably like 60 degrees or something right
This
now.
morning
Somewhere around there.
it was 39.
It's 63 right now.
So it's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not terrible.
It's fine now. This morning I don't know why I was so cold.
I actually
Oh my gosh.
leave the house.
This is funny.
I do all my stuff in the AM before it gets too hot. I still have that San Francisco, like if it's above 62, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here. I know, it's weird.
Y'all are wild. Absolutely.
You're
wild.
old when you start talking about the weather. It's the what? Like I remember that Sunday night. It's 73 in Los Angeles. Work. Yeah, I'm old. Sorry.
You could totally be the weather girl. That was solid. You could be the rejoiner voice with the top of the hour morning news and traffic. Okay, tell us about Give and Go. Like now, you called it. You had the idea. Like I want to do something. It's called Give and Go, and you kind of explained it to you. We dubbed it Give and Go with Mayback O. We did that on our own. We did that without your.
Mayback O.
But what? Like, explain to us what this idea is.
Well, honestly, it's like my mind works better when I have some structure around like what I want to talk about, what I'm doing, who I'm presenting to. And like, as much as I like the give and go of our conversation, because we're doing a little giving and going, I also wanted to watch the game or all Kings games with this. What do I want to see more of? Give me more of this. And what can just go on, get away from that. So I can see whether or not they're implementing things, if they're improving some way. I also, thinking about the commentators, the broadcasters, my heart goes out to them because they have to think about different ways to say the same thing over and over again.
It's rough.
They're giving and going too. Like, oh, here are like you said, Kate, the keys of the game, and here's what we need to see. And it's depressing for them, I'm sure, because
Poor Draper lost steam yesterday. Like you could hear it. You could totally hear it in the fourth quarter. Like Drapes lost all his steam.
He started telling some story, and Kate goes, it's not just us, right? There are other yeah.
The story that killed me. I wanted to. Drape started telling a story about how Alvin was talking about the team, like going on field trips together. And like they were bonding and they like each other. They're down like 25. And all I'm thinking is, Drapes, this ain't the time for that. Nobody wants to hear about the trip to the Liberty Bell when they're negative 75 in the last 2 games.
He said they were going to the trap house after the game. The trap house.
Oh, the museum. They're
the
going
museum,
to the
yeah.
museum.
And I guess that was
man.
an attempt to talk about, well, they like each other. That's what
Right. That's 100% what it was. Like, I get what he was trying to do. I just kept thinking, oh, Drapes. That was a tough left turn to make, because this just might not have been the time for that one.
But he's fishing for things to talk about. And I'm like, well,
because he should. Well, hell, you don't want to talk about what's happening out there.
I know, it's terrible. It's terrible.
It's ugly.
But like, yeah. So for me to not get in the habit of having to say the same thing every week, even though this does not mean that I won't, even though I have this structure, I might be saying the same thing every week on Give and Go. I'm trying to create some process for myself. Again, what I want them to give me more of and what I want them to go on with. But my first give is a damn. Can I say give a damn?
Oh, you can.
Oh,
you
yeah.
said far worse. Yeah.
My number one is give a damn. And I feel like King's Twitter, that's all we talk about is they don't even care. They don't even care. They don't think about the effort. And we talked about this earlier. If you want people to keep watching, which is clearly what Kyle and Kate want us to do, keep watching the show, be hopeful. It could turn around anytime. Buddy could get going at any point. You never know. But you have to give a damn.
See one go in.
Yes. I tweeted something about like I can't hear this anymore. And
That gift was hilarious. That making of the Chappelle gift, that was funny.
Yeah. But that's my number one give, and everyone's with that, right?
Give it. Yeah, I think, and this is where the just blow it up tank crowd comes into play. Is I'm fine watching Neemias Queta and Bob Woodard and Jamias Ramsey lose by 50 because they're gonna bust their ass to lose by 50. There's no excuse for this roster losing the way that they are. And it's because they, in fact, don't give a damn.
Right.
I think that's what kept kind of people interested during all of these transitions with COVID protocols is when you're getting G League players or 10-day contracts, those guys are playing their asses off. They're trying to make a statement. They're trying to get signed. They're trying to get, and that's what all fans want is to see effort. They want to see you give a damn. So they will give a damn and want to watch. I don't think I've ever said damn that many times. I'm not going to tell my dad to watch this.
Yeah, definitely don't tell Mr. Swilly. And how many, that's a great point too, that you brought up. How many NBA moments this year have been better than Lance Stevenson's first day of his 10-day contract?
Man. That was a great one. That was a great one. Haven't seen Lance since, but that was a great one.
Yeah.
I really love that NBA fans love seeing these guys get their chance or seeing their comeback or, people are just on their side rooting for them, and it's contagious. And that's what makes it so disappointing.
Yeah.
And another reason why it's disappointing with the Kings, it just doesn't seem like it's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But can I give another give before I go with a go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
One of the things I keep mentioning is the lack of activity on the court. Like I feel like everyone runs to the three-point line and they stand around watching whoever has the ball. And it drives me nuts. I think you mentioned this a couple of days ago, Damien, like you want to hear what they're saying, or maybe Alvin can record it and play it back and say like, see, I told them, they're just not doing it. But how is it possible that game after game, possession after possession, people aren't cutting through the lane? We don't have enough. We have some pick and rolls here and Rashawn's on the court, but it's a lot of standing around. And that's usually when they get in trouble. If they're able to get a stop on defense and they get it up the court quickly, they can get into their offense quickly because they do not play great when the defense is set up. And then if they aren't able to start the offense as early as they want and they're facing a set defense, they just fall asleep. Nobody knows what to do anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a lack of play calling? Like, are you yelling, hey, do number 1, let's do play number 4, and they're just not doing it? Or they just seemed confused and don't know how to even get themselves going by moving. That stresses me out. I can't stand the stagnation.
It's funny you say you feel like you watch them and all they do is run to the 3-point line. The reason you feel that way is because it's actually what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go back, like I don't know what's crazier going back to the Boston game. The fact that they were 1 of 20 or they just kept shooting. Like, hey, let's try a different strategy. Like that first quarter of the Celtics game, even that first half of the Celtics game, that might perfectly encompass the Kings organization. It's not working. Keep doing it. Eventually it's going to work. Okay, we're 1 of 10. Keep doing it. Well, now we're 1 of 15. Just keep doing it. It's eventually going to work.
Well, even if you're 2 of 20, that's still not good. Like, so even if you hit 1 or 2, you're still behind a lot. So just stop doing it.
Right.
Also, like, I feel like they know what it takes to get there. And that's, I think, the biggest issue is like, it's not as if the problem isn't apparent. We all see it. We see you start off well, or, sometimes they don't start off well, but you know how to get points on the board. You know how to make defensive stops, but you don't know how to just keep doing it. All of a sudden you face some adversity. And then again, the game plan just goes out the window and we're all running to the 3-point line and watching and hoping one after one miss, and they're bad misses too. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's that close a lot of times. It's a lot of bricks. It's a lot of air balls. It's a lot of hitting the back iron and going over the top of the backboard. And it's like humiliating the way they're shooting.
And one of the baffling things about all this is like everything that you guys are saying is 100% correct. And I don't feel like they have a bunch of low IQ basketball players. Like these guys know how to play the game of basketball. And I know a lot of people like to, talk about the organization and our guy, Pete Youngman, it starts at the top. Like, even if it does start at the top, why are these people coming in here and just voluntarily playing not smart basketball? Like Vivek and all these other people aren't saying, hey, be 1 of 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on in these guys? At this point, it comes back to just a lack of focus. And I feel using the organization as an excuse or a crutch not to be accountable for your poor play or your bad basketball IQ. Because if you don't sit up there and look in the mirror and be like, I'm doing wrong, I need to do better, and all you're doing is saying, well, it's Sacramento's fault, then you ain't never going to get better. You're never going to improve. We're never going to improve. Watching this team, if you're just saying every time, blame the organization, and I'm not blaming fans or anything else but if you kind of stall them out, this is where I was getting way back when with the whole Luke Walton thing. If just keep like putting it out there, it's the coach's fault, it's Vivek's fault. These guys would be like, well, everybody knows it's their fault. It's not my fault. No, you're on the court. You need to do better on the court. You need to do better. It's your job. And then everything else is going on.
Are you saying the players are blaming the culture and not taking individual responsibility?
I think that happens quite often. It's Sacramento.
I agree.
It's Sacramento. It's a mess here in Sacramento. So nobody can win here.
I can remember one coach, and again, I'm not putting this on Alvin Gentry, but I remember the last time, and maybe not. I remember a time, we'll say this was a couple of years ago, that a team got it handed to them the way that the Sacramento Kings have in this short stretch of time. It was Phoenix a couple of years ago. Earl Watson was the head coach. Second 30-point blowout in a row, Earl Watson wasn't the head coach no more. Like it's that level of, as Olivia was saying a minute ago, just truly not giving a damn. In the NBA, to lose by that many points twice, back to back, and this I think is the point Kenny is tied into the point Kenny's making. You almost have to do that on purpose. Like you have to try to be that bad.
Right.
Well,
And when you have an organization who I know, sorry, Olivia, who has like shortcomings, like how could this? Of course, the organization has shortcomings. They thought they had a roster that worked, but Buddy don't want to play here. Marvin don't want to play here. I don't know what the hell is going on with De'Aaron Fox. And now you know, I'm not absolving as Kenny, like I think you're not absolving the organization of the mistakes that they've made. But the organization's mistakes only get amplified by the fact that the players don't care.
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree with you. I feel like the players try to take individual responsibility at points. Like you said, Kenny, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they go, I had a bad game and, you know, it's the shots didn't fall, or, you know, we didn't hit that buzzer beater. And we haven't had a buzzer beater in a long time. We've been losing by so many. It's been wild. It hasn't been close in a minute.
The buzzer beater we get is to hit it before the shot clock ends at this point.
Right.
That's it.
But I feel like, you know, I was listening to your conversation with Trey Wingo, and, you know, they're human beings. And I feel like emotions are contagious. Energy is contagious. Positivity, negativity, all of those things. You can come in with a good basketball IQ. You can come in to a situation that's maybe not ideal, but you can want the best for yourself and for your team. But if collectively you're not all on the same page, the same game plan, the same strategy, knowing your roles, you can easily get wrapped up in that stuff and get pulled down. It happens in any kind of organization, professional sports or otherwise.
Yeah.
But like we've talked about before, I think the only solution is replacing some of those folks who are the biggest drag on the energy, on the emotion, on the positivity. That's the only way you kind of change that mental focus, that giving a damn spirit. That doesn't always mean, especially not right away, that it's going to be a huge culture shift and you're going to start seeing wins. It will take time. But I know that's what fans have been waiting for forever. It's going to take time. Let's wait. Let's see. But I think obviously everybody goes in with the best of intentions. But for me, it's at this point anyway, I'm trying to take it game by game, because I feel like we can make still, with all the chaos of the individual people who have attitude, who don't want to be there, who are, you know, jacking up threes when they shouldn't be. There's still individual things that they could be doing to make it satisfying as a fan to be emotionally invested in the team. And that's what, at this point, that's all I think we can really hope for.
Right.
Is that they at least show that kind of energy.
Yeah.
You got any more give and goes you want to hit?
I do. I don't know what is happening at halftime, but whatever the strategy is, if we're winning or if we're losing, we have to get rid of it. That has to go, because they always come back worse. Even if they're worse in the first half, if they're bad in the first half, they will be worse in the second half after whatever is said or not said. I really want to know. I want to know what they're doing in there to make them come out and be as crabby as they are, as consistently as they are. It's like they fell asleep. Does everybody take a nap? And they're like, they're stretching once they come out. But
I feel like this is a multi-season problem. Like, this isn't just this year. Like, this was, remember how scared we were of the third quarter last year?
Yeah.
Shoot, remember the year before? Like, it's the weird, gosh, I'm starting to think it's the players. It's the weirdest thing.
What are the players doing at halftime? What are they talking about? Talking more on the
checking
court?
Their phones.
Yeah, problems.
I mean,
checking their phone. Here's the issue, and this is one of the things that we started talking about Memphis earlier today, and what the Memphis is just one example. There's other good teams and all around the NBA. And I believe that when you talk about a Memphis, Miami, Phoenix now with Chris Paul, there is a standard that the best players on those teams set for everything. And they hold themselves to a standard, and they make sure everybody else in that locker room is held to the same standard. And that's not here in Sacramento. You can do whatever. Like, you can do whatever. And whether it's De'Aaron Fox or Harrison Barnes, Rashawn, Tyrese, whoever, they don't hold everybody to a standard. And this is where I get back to, like, you know, finger pointing at the organization. They don't do it, in my opinion, because they always have that thing to fall back on to say it's not them, it's the ownership or it's the front office, as opposed to saying, I don't care what they're doing. This is what I expect of myself. This is what I expect of my teammates. Period. We could have the worst owners in all of sports. Sarver's still the owner in Phoenix. And Chris Paul said, I don't care who the owner is. This is what I expect. This is what I demand. Monty Williams did the same thing. And all those other guys fell in line. They obviously have great talent as well. That matters. But at some point, like Damian just talked about, we have the same concerns and frustrations over multiple seasons, multiple coaches at this point. You know what I mean? Multiple general managers. It's the same thing. So I think there needs to be somebody that sets a culture in that locker room.
It's interesting that you said that, because what came to my mind is how great players in the game will, not literally, but grab somebody by the neck and be like, nah, we're not doing this. That wasn't the shot to take. You need to take this man. Or here's what we're going to do. They have somebody who says that leader on the court, and they all fall in line. You're right. We're going to do this. Okay. But there's really none of that on the Kings. Right. There's nobody who steps in and says, like, here's, you don't see that leadership. And I've talked about this before, whether, you don't have to be a screamer or a yeller or cussing people out to be a leader, but you can't save it for post game. Hey guys, that was a bad loss. No, hopefully we'll do it better next time. Maybe you need to call them out while it's happening. Stop it now. And I don't think they have anybody on the team right now that plays that role for them. And that's why it leads to chaos.
And I don't think they have any desire to call it out. Because it's like, who cares? I ain't gonna be here, or you ain't gonna be here, or we ain't gonna be here. And they're like it's like they're serving out a prison sentence, and they feel like it's coming. Like, I'm almost out. February 10th, I'm out.
I'm not trying to get in a fight and add days.
Day out.
Yeah, February, I'm out. I'm trying to serve my time. Do what they asked me to do and go. That's all I'm doing here. The bare freaking minimum. I don't want to cause no problems. Just gonna serve my time, and by February 10th, I'm out. But I might get early release. If Monty start doing something, I'm gonna get early release. That's I think where this team is at, man.
Yeah. If I don't get into fights, I'll be good.
Yeah, no. Hey, ain't adding time. Ain't adding time to my sentence. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You got any non-Kings give and goes you want to touch on this week?
I do. Kenny was talking about Chris Paul being an example of somebody on the court that's a real leader, and he holds people accountable. And it makes me think of him being on the court and calling people out. But the first thing that comes to my mind with Chris Paul are those State Farm commercials.
Pretty good. I like him.
Chris Paul he's got good commercials, but he's got great gifts. Like Chris Paul has some really, like the DeMarcus Cousins gif.
That's a good one.
And then the often used Steve Kerr straight face laugh.
Right, that's his GOAT gif.
Like Chris Paul's got really like top-notch gifts.
He's got top-notch. I'm not with you on the State Farm commercial.
Nah, I like him, and I like when they bring Carlton in there, the fake Chris Paul. Now that's fun.
I don't think they've run those in a while, but I think they're terrible. But I also think I think they should have to like not play the commercials of a player if the player is already lost, like in the playoffs. I don't want to see any more State Farms with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers isn't playing anymore, so we don't need to hear about the Rodgers rate. I can hear about Mahomes.
I don't want to see Aaron Rodgers. Period.
Yeah, there's that.
But I feel like if you lose, we shouldn't be subjected to you trying to sell us insurance.
They used to do that with Paul George and Gatorade. Like he'd get bounced around with Pacers.
Oh.
You lose in the first round, and we have to keep seeing you round after round. It's the worst.
Hitting a clutch shot too at that time, like, oh God. Paul George, like Gatorade, like just stop, like air a different commercial. And how did Jake from State Farm go from like this goofy dude in khakis in a polo to like Mr. America?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know what that's all about. I don't like any of those commercials, the football ones.
What was it, like Super Bowl last year? Drake was in the commercial with them.
Yeah. Now, that was pretty funny. Drake from State
that was good.
That was funny.
Yeah, Drake from State Farm was funny.
Yeah.
Most straight.
State Farm was fun.
I want to get off. Go all of those State Farm commercials. I think.
Okay.
We can.
All right. State Farm commercials got to go.
Do you have any other ones? Because I got a question for you.
Okay. I'll give you a question. Yeah.
Okay. So there was a article that came out that this morning that Mary J. Blige is having to choose between one song to perform at the Super Bowl halftime show. And I think we're all pretty much in agreement. It's probably going to be Family Affair because Dre, all this other stuff, right? So she's going to do that. And I said, that's a travesty. They really should have just taken Eminem's whole set and let Mary play whatever 3 other songs she needs to. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Don't need Eminem out there.
I think Mary J.
I don't need him out there.
I don't think so either. She has so many hits. It'd be great to just kind of go through, her catalog and just be reminded of it. I love when there are like halftime shows where you're like, oh yeah, real love. You're like, yeah, I remember where I was when
I don't even know if they're gonna let her dance. We like to see Mary dance and her solo dance, and at least give us that.
Mary J is the only person who could dance like that and be like, yeah. Nobody else. Anybody else dancing like is like, are you on something? Did you take your medication? I like that she's dedicated to
go Mary, go Mary, go Mary.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the fact that when Jay-Z took over the halftime show and he's bringing in all these artists?
Nah, I don't care.
You don't care about any of that stuff.
No.
The best halftime show to date is Prince.
Prince and Michael, Beyonce bodied it. Bruno bodied it too. I thought The Weeknd did good last year too.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't that many terrible ones. But was it like Shakira? How many years ago was that when she was wagging her tongue at the camera? That was a good joke.
Is that Shakira and J-Lo?
Yeah.
When they made J-Lo put the American flag on her. That was the phoniest trash I've ever seen. That was the phoniest garbage I've ever seen. Like this is absurd. I ain't gonna argue with y'all about Mary J. Blige.
Yeah, because we talk about this all the time.
No, Cap. I'd love Mary J. Blige.
No.
I'm just saying. I think the mistake that they made with Mary is they announced her. Normally, or I don't want to say normally. In the past, there have been surprise appearances from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Mary in that set, in that group, she's the one who doesn't fit. It's like, why? Like, I love Mary, but like, okay, wait. Snoop, Trey, yeah. And Mary? I'm not sure, like,
understand
why. But they should have just like dropped the beat, don't, and just let her walk out.
Right.
And then it was, and then that would have been the moment. But now it's like, oh, you're only giving Mary one song. Well, no, like it should have been a surprise, the one song, because again, all of the other guys, they do a song together.
Yeah.
They've got like, they could do a whole set where they're all doing the records that they made together.
Does him have any song? Well, he's got My Name Is. What's him gonna do? Stan. Who wants to see that?
Oh man, don't cap on Eminem. Like M is dope.
M is
like,
a dope rapper. I don't need to see him perform any of his songs.
Man, I think you're crazy. You didn't go to the Up and Smoke tour?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh man, yeah.
I
Don't.
wouldn't have been going for Eminem.
Nah, like M can go, man. Like
there's two different discussions here. He's one of the greatest rappers I've ever seen in my life.
He can perform.
Stan. No,
he's not going to perform Stan.
I don't even see him perform Lose Yourself.
I hope he doesn't perform.
And then, okay, well, then the question begs, what is he going to perform?
Dude, there's a bit. He could what if Mary played the role of Rihanna? Oh no, you can't do that. That'd be kind of disrespectful. Yo, it should have been Rihanna. That's who it should have been.
I would have loved seeing Riri. Well,
yeah, I don't think it'd be
able to do it anyway.
I don't think it'd be disrespectful for Mary to do that. I think because of who Mary is, she could. I think Rihanna would be like, thank you, Queen.
Actually, I mean, like, no, I don't fool with the NFL.
He'll do Guilty Conscience because Dre's on it.
Yeah.
Do that. They'll do. Ain't he on? I'm getting uncomfortable with some of these song titles. Let's just.
I'm asking the question.
No, I mean they're there. I just like I feel like I've used I dropped the B word early in the week. I feel like you can get one a week. I don't want to drop like a second one here, especially at 3:54. You know what I mean? Well,
I said damn like 10 times. I feel like yeah.
you were really cutting loose today with them dams. Like that's we got to put a parental advisory logo now on the YouTube video and on the podcast just because Olivia was cutting up.
I was doing the James, from Good Times.
Yeah. That's Olivia Christian.